Hey, how's it going? My name's Paul Buska, and I have a company. It's called Self Finance Savings. So it's savings and showing you how to self finance without depleting the balance. So, unlike other videos that you watch, they usually send you to they tell you to go somewhere and enter in your email, and then they set you up with a webinar where they send you somewhere. You have to enter your email, your phone number, and they send you to a webinar, and you spend an hour or two, and you learn all about their course and things like that. So I don't do that. I don't want to hound you. I don't want to call you if you don't want to be spoken with. If you don't want to be spoken to, if you don't want to talk about this, there must be a burning desire to want more, to do better, to want more for you and your family, and to want your money to go further. So, so what I do is I'm a car fanatic. I'm a motorhead, and I have a little bit of an obsession with going through a few vehicles per year. Not for a business, just because I like to try new vehicles, and that's just what I do. So I found out not that long ago, but I started this process with myself, and I practice in my own family. I've been practicing just over 5 years now, and I've been teaching people or showing people how to do this for a little bit over 2 years, and many different situations. But mainly, I like to focus on showing people how to finance vehicles more efficiently, and show them that every time they pay off a vehicle, they have access to more. So each time they finish with one vehicle, they can go back, access the amount that they paid back to their system, and purchase another vehicle, and then make payments back to that. So I teach people how to use their expense payments, your grocery, your insurance, your gas, your all your expense payments, bills, and turn those expense payments into your savings, and then use your savings to finance your expense payments. And once you do that, once this is moving, and you've got a system going where you're able to do this, it's quite simple, by the way. Your savings start going like this. So it's not something like a credit line where you borrow from it, you pay it off, and then you pay it back, and then you're at where you were before, because that is always going to put you in a negative, right? Because you're paying interest each time you're using that. You're paying interest here as well, but you're paying interest so that you benefit. Also, each time you go back and you pay yourself back, your system is growing, so you have access to more money. I'll give you an example. So usually I give examples for purchasing vehicles, but what I did is I have another medical business, and we pay rent there for our suite. So I approached the landlord, and I asked if they would like, if it would be okay if we could pay annually instead of monthly. They were happy to oblige. So what we did is we accessed a loan from my self-finance savings system. I accessed the loan because it's liquid. You can access capital from it. I paid the year in advance to the landlord, and then the amounts that I was going to pay in rent every month to the landlord, I just paid it back to my own system. So I collected the money, but also my system, don't forget, is paying interest every day. Actually, you can log in every day. It becomes very mundane, but you can log in and see your balance appreciating. And and then the next year, when I make my last payment on the 12th month, if I borrow this much, I pay back this much, but I'm always going to pay myself a little bit of interest, aren't I? I'm going to charge myself a little bit more. So I'll add 10 to 15% on top of that. So I will have this much. And why do I want to pay interest? Because I'm collecting it to use again. So it's all going to myself, right? Plus, these financial systems that I put my money in, unlike banks, they pay me every year what's called a dividend, because they've been profitable for the last 150 years, never missed a year to pay a dividend. So they just supercharge my balance as well. So I can go in the end of the year and now I have access to this much, but I pay back this much. So now I have access to this much, right? So then I borrow again, I pay off, I pay the rent 1 year in advance, and I make payments back so that I collect and accumulate the money. But again, I have access to more every single year because my balance is continuing to increase. That's just how it works. They cannot not pay me every single day. It's contractual. And the reason for this is because I hold my money not in the banks. I hold money in another financial vehicle, which is held inside the insurance industry. Insurance companies, they manage billions of dollars just like banks do, and you can use these policies just like banks. Why do we use them? We use them because you're able to deposit capital just like a bank. You're able to access capital just like a bank. But unlike a bank, they pay you interest, good interest. You're able to borrow against your money, unlike the bank. If something happens to me, my family gets a windfall of capital, unlike the bank. And also this system that it becomes more efficient the more that I deposit capital. So each year that goes by that I was mentioning how my balance rises, it becomes so efficient that if 1 year, say I'm depositing 5,000 a year into one of my I'm going to call it financial systems, my policies. There's going to be a year that usually comes in the 7th year, more or less, and then it just gets bigger after that. That say I deposit 5,000, all of a sudden 6,000 would show up on the other side. It's that's another reason why I hold my money in insurance contracts instead of in the bank. Also, they're private. Also, when I'm accessing this money as well, I'm accessing it as a loan to myself, and I don't pay tax on it. So I'm able to utilize this money tax-free. And as you know, when I'm using this money tax-free, it's worth more because I don't have to. They're not taking tax. I'm not paying any capital gains. I'm not paying income tax on this money. I'm using it as a loan to myself. So this money is a larger amount. It goes further. When you're doing this process over your lifetime, it accumulates such a huge number by the time you're old in your passive income time years. You can use this as supplementary income for your golden years, for your retirement, for your passive income years. And this is something that's going to be there. It's not something that you have to wonder or worry if you're going to have money in retirement. As long as you're doing this and you're putting in like a decent amount, $20,000 a year is about what is that, $1,600 per month, a little bit more. If you want to put less, that's fine. But you can have a small bank, a small savings. You can have a small amount. You can have a large amount. You can do this with businesses. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. But don't just let your money sit there in cash and put it in a shoebox and use it and then deplete it and then start saving again. Borrow against it so it continues to grow. And when you pay it back, you also always have access to more. And it's just an ever increasing pool of cash flow that you can use for anything. And so I thought I'd share that with you. Now rent, using my expenses to increase my savings and using this for rent is it's like the rent payments are coming back to me, or are actually helping me and not act like such an expense anymore. So you can also use this capital, of course, to make an investment opportunity, to make your to increase your cash flow even more. I don't even have to tell you, for investors or real estate investors how important cash flow is to you. So this process, what I call it, self-finance savings. It's simple, it's private. We use the money tax-free. It's flexible. So when you're paying back your payments back to your own system, you have no timeline. You can skip a payment if you get in some hot water. We recommend that you be a good steward and you make your payments back. But hey, life happens, and you have the flexibility. You're in control. So you pay back the amount you want. You choose the timeline that you want, and when you want to access your money, you fill out a one-page form. Your name, your number, your policy number. You sign it. How much money you want. How would you like it deposited? And that's it. You don't have to prove credit score, your income verification. You don't have to jump through hoops. There's nothing required. So all you have to do is really want to do better than what you're doing now, and don't rely on just a credit line that's constantly eroding or eating your wealth because it's just charging interest. You can get something like it, but something that actually pays you and builds wealth for you. And if something were to happen, it's almost like a bonus that you have this insurance that is going to pay your family so they can mourn and do whatever they have to do to take care of all of the expenses that will inevitably come if something were to happen to you. So I really don't see any downfalls of it. Are you putting your money somewhere now anyways, RRSPs, somewhere else? Hope and pray that they go up in value. And number two, hope and pray that when you actually need to use it, that the market doesn't drop and you don't go into a recession, or there's not another crisis or a war or whatever it is. Also, hope that taxes are lower at that time. Do you think taxes are going to go down or up? For this, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's just going to be there when you need it, and it's always going to increase. So anyways, that's enough about that. Leave a comment below if you want me to contact you. You can leave your email, or you can text 905-237-8637 or call. That's 905-237-8637. Or you can email me at redirectandcollect@gmail.com. That's redirectandcollect@gmail.com. Again, my name is Paul Buska. Take care. Bye-bye.